Folks, L.A. Little here with TA Today, and I'm going to show you how a professional trader myself would look at a market like this today. So, I'd already put out a video this weekend, a little short one summarizing, what we had done on the weekly report, and just to share with you the kind of thoughts, the negativity that I had coming into the week and why we took some short positions. As far as today is about volatility, right? And this week's going to be about volatility. And I don't think today is the day you start looking at long-term stuff. And I'm talking, it was 15 minutes before the market opens here Tuesday morning, January 20th. And so what is it do you look at? What is it that you want to do? Well, today, what you want to do is you want to look at volatility. You want to look at the volatility that's out there and make decisions based on that. And so when I look at this market, for example, today, I'm short MAGS, for example. Where am I going to cover my MAGS at? Well, I'm going to look at the swing point low. I'm going to look at it over here on the weekly, right? That's where it should go to, right? You should go to that swing point low. And so if I want to cover, I want to see how it behaves when it gets there. You got a lot of volume sitting there. My suspicion is when it gets there, they're going to buy it. So if I'm short, what I want to do, I want to cover it. And so that's what I'll be looking at today. That's the sort of thing that I'm looking at today. In terms of, where can you put your money that you're going to get the most juice? I think, the MAGS is a good example because the MAGS have been sucking air compared to everything else. But there's other things out there too that are not that well off, shall we say. Let's just look at the Qs themselves. Let me pull up the Qs. So here's the Qs themselves. What have they been doing? Well, as I summarized in that weekend video that I put out for you, they've been struggling with this top. They've got a bullish retest region that failed already, right? They can't get over this top. If you want to do the angle stuff, you got this angle line coming up that they're breaking today. The Qs, let me see, they're going to open around 610. And so they're going to be pressing that swing point low at 610. So what do you expect? I expect they're going to bounce it right off the bat, right? Maybe they take it lower, a little bit lower, somewhere 608, I don't know, somewhere in here. But they're going to bounce it. And they're going to bring it back up to the 615 level. That's where people are going to look at shorting it again. And so if you're trading today, you're trading volatility, you got to look at your long-term chart, quote unquote, you're at your daily in this case, and look at it for levels. Look at the levels that are there. You got 600 after that one. So if they take it up, they can't hold it, they bounce it, and you see this trade turn like this, right? Where you start down here, you bounce it up, and then they just roll it back over. Well, where are they going to go? They're going to go to the next swing point low. So, folks, use the volatility to your advantage. Stake out those things that you want to buy. Get ready for them. Today's probably not the day to buy them, but you got to have a list because markets move fast and you got to make decisions. You want levels. One stock I've talked about, I'll share with you, is Microsoft. I think that Microsoft is probably in a position where someone could think about buying it. And so if I pop up Microsoft and show you what I'm looking at, here's Microsoft. This is a very negative chart on the daily over here, right? Lots of overhead resistance now, but on the weekly it's coming back into bullish retest regions. Now it could get as low as down here, but I wouldn't go that far. I would say this 442 or so number. So as it comes into this around 442, I'm going to be interested in it. Am I going to carry it all the way down to here? Probably not. I'm going to have something shorter than that, a shorter leash than that. But, I'll blow this up for you so you can see it more clearly. But, this area here, the overlap of these two swing point highs, you have some decent volume on this one. I think that this overlap area is the area to be focused on. So anywhere from about 442 to, 440 and a half up to 448.38. And I'd be focused on the bottom end of it, 440 and a half, somewhere down there. If it got down there and it looked like it was going to hold, and the general market's going to hold, and I don't expect this today, maybe tomorrow, the next day, But that would be the area that I'd be focused on for a longer term position. And I would expect that bounce to come back and do the bearish retest regen on this bar. And so you could, if you can pick it up here, you risk, $3 or $4 probably, and you're shooting for something back up in the 470, 490, 480, 490, something into this bar. That's a good risk reward in a major stock. Folks, I mean, that's the sort of, trade where you can pick up something if you want to trade something. On the long side, that's a longer term. So it's going to be an ugly open. I expect they're going to bounce it, and then I expect they're going to take it back down again. That's where we're at. Have a great one. See you next time.